From the majestic island of Themyscira to the nth metal deposits of Thanagar, I am Dom of X, and this morning we are going to take a look at DC Finest Wonder Woman Origins and Omens, the next installment of DC's comprehensive collected edition line, reprinting stories from 1938 to 2011. Let's get right to it. Up, and away. And welcome back, everybody, to Dom's Finest. I am so glad you're here, and of course, this is the third part of hopefully what will be an infinite amount of episodes talking about every single one of these comprehensive trade paperbacks that you can get at whatever retailer it is you decide to purchase these at. This week we are again looking at DC Finest Wonder Woman Origins and Omens by Gail Simone, Mark Andreyko, Mark Waid, Bernard Chang, Terry Dodson, Aaron Lopresti, and so many others. And once again, you can buy this title for $39.99 at your local comic shop or whichever direct market or regular book retailer you decide to purchase this at. This selected collected edition clocks in at 584 pages. So here's a look at the cover of, once again, DC Finest Wonder Woman Origins and Omens. This is the cover to issue 16 of the 2006 Wonder Woman run, the third volume of that specific Wonder Woman run. By volume, I mean the series. This was the third relaunch of Wonder Woman right after the pages of Infinite Crisis. And there you can see you got the Bullet logo with Wonder Woman all in bold. Down at the bottom, the build creditors are Gail Simone, Aaron Lopresti, who does most of the penciling in this book, and the Dodsons, who do a majority of the circle arc, which I will get to in a second. Here's a look at the spine of the book. As you can see, we do have the years 2007 to 2009, along with cover art from issue 14 of the series with the Bullet logo. So much to see there. Here is a side view, just in case if you all wanted to see that. And on top of that, this is a look at all of the collected editions that we have so far from DC Finest with Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. And all of them having very different looks at the pages on the inside of those folds. Wonder Woman and Superman, being the same page count, will have the same sized Bullet logo, as you can see there. But once again, if you are collecting these, one thing you will notice is that for specific books, they will have bigger DC Bullet logos. And this very much is in fact of the case here. The Bullet logo for the DC Batman, DC Finest Batman Year 1 and Year 2 is bigger than the one for Wonder Woman. Here's a look at the back of the book, just in case if you guys were wondering. Take a look at the back cover gallery. There we do have the Wonder Woman and Grace Outsiders 5-of-a-kind one-shot, which I will get to in a moment. DC's Brave and the Bold number 7 by Wonder Woman and Power Girl. This is Brave and the Bold issue 7, of course. Issue 14 of Wonder Woman, issue 17, issue 20, issue 26, issue 32, and issue number 34. There you can see on the timeline, we do have a couple of years highlighted, and by those years, I do mean the years 2007 to 2009. On the bottom, it does say, "Welcome to the ends of the earth." On Themyscira, she is known as Diana, but to the rest of the world, she is called Wonder Woman due to her strength, bravery, and humanity. And acclaimed writer Gail Simone's fan favorite Wonder Woman run. Simone, along with artists Lopresti and the Dodsons, crafted lush yarns that delved heavily into the history and mythology of the Amazons. These stories, including The Circle, Ends of the Earth, and Rise of the Olympians, saw Diana facing classic foes such as Captain Nazi, literary monsters such as Grendel, and of course longtime enemies such as the God of War Ares. As it says on the bottom, this does collect Wonder Woman issues 14 through 35, Outsiders 5-of-a-kind Wonder Woman Grace number 1, and Brave and the Bold number 7 from the 2007 series. So yes, that is a look at the book. Let's go ahead and take a look right into it. All right, everybody, let's take a look at the inside of DC Finest Wonder Woman. Talk about a couple select stories that I want to go over, at least the synopses of, before we get into the rest of the book. But before that, here is a look at the copyrighted material and the pages of contents. I always keep saying it. Really love that Will Moss was a part of my childhood, even indirectly, and now it's so awesome to see him sort of go up the ladder, not only at DC, but heading over to Marvel and editing so many Eisner Award and nominated books. It seems like every year that guy is part of an Eisner winning or nominated series, or even a Ringo nominated series. So kudos to him. And a big shout out to everybody else here, and a big credit to them for putting all this together. Now, table of contents. I do have one gripe to make about this book, but I will get to that in a moment. I do want to, again, list out the table of contents as it is listed here. So the way that they are going is, of course, they are going to go in publication order. By that, I do mean they are going from chronological from A to Z, which is starting off with the Outsiders 5 of a Kind Wonder Woman Grace one-shot. Brave and the Bold number 7 by Mark Waid and George Perez. And issues 14 to 35 of Wonder Woman. And let's go ahead and talk about the book. So, to speak off, the stories I do want to talk about are a couple-fold. First is the Circle, that of which, quick side note, this is how they are going to overlay the variant covers to this series. It won't take up the whole page, as you can see the cover of Wonder Woman issue number 14. They don't credit the artists on the fronts of these, but they do credit, because they already credit them here in the table of contents. But for the variant cover artists, this one specifically by Michael Golden, he is credited here on the left-hand side. And yes, let's go ahead and talk about the select stories that I do want to talk about, which are also coincidentally on the back of the book. So the Circle starts off Gail Simone's run, and this is sort of her picking up the pieces from what it was right after the pages of Infinite Crisis, and also the after effects of the Amazons attack event of the DC Universe. There are multiple references in this specific story to you guys are the last ones. Diana's one of the last ones. You have Donna and Cassie, who are just there out and about, being referenced at the front. There's no Philippus. It's just Hippolyta and them trying to figure out what is going on. And the Circle is really about, both metaphorically and literally, who is in Diana's sphere of trust. Is it Etta Candy? Is it Hippolyta? Is it any of these gods that she can trust and she can't? It's such an interesting story because Gail Simone was really trying to figure out and pick up the pieces. I felt like a lot of writers didn't know what to do with her right after the pages in Infinite Crisis, and I don't blame them because she sort of got displaced. A lot of the 1 year later books with the displacement of Superman and Batman as well, but I don't really want to get too many spoilers for Infinite Crisis, which I would assume is going to get its own DC Events trade paperback at some point. But you really do get to see Diana sort of claiming back what was rightfully hers, getting her spot back in the world, because Donna had been Wonder Woman, and DC could not stick with that status quo, which I'll get to in a second. But yes, it felt like the gods had abandoned the Amazons. It felt like the whole world had abandoned the Amazons. And you also do get to see a little bit of Diana's history with her mother, how she was raised, the people who were against the Fits. You also get to see these very, very smart gorillas join in on Diana's side. So that is the Circle. It's a wonderful story about who not only Diana is as a character, because you do get to see different retrospectives from hers, and as well as the villains in the story and what they decide to do with the Amazons and the after effects of that. But this is really Gail Simone setting the tone and the pace for what her run is going to be, with a lot of repercussions for the rest of the book. But yes, Terry Dodson does eventually leave the book because he goes on to do X-Men with Greg Land and Kieran Gillen and Matt Fraction and those guys. It's just the X-Men, but hey, who knows? Would have been cool to see him throughout the history of Diana, maybe in a different world. Aaron Lopresti is the guy who draws the X-Men, or maybe it's Greg Land who draws the X-Men. That in the case is this circle. This is what the pages look like that don't have any covers or any art on them. But before I do get to Ends of the Earth, I will say that DC did leave out one story that I thought would have been cool to see added. It was in the Rise of the Olympian hardcover, as weird as it sounds, but it wasn't collected in this DC Finest, and I do find that very interesting, because again, if they're saying comprehensive fits for the line, then I would like to see them 110% committed to that bit. Not that I'm fully complaining, because what we did get is pretty awesome, but would have been nice to see there. So Ends of the Earth is another Diana story written by none other than Gail Simone. Aaron Lopresti also continuing to join her, but she's also now joined with, honestly, someone who I think is a very underrated Diana love interest, and that is Agent Tom Tresser, who we are introduced to in the Circle. Tom Tresser is an integral part of a lot of these Diana stories, but another thing that I love about Ends of the Earth is the introspective that Diana gets, because she does get into a bit of a hole with the person that she runs into. As you guys didn't know, she is also an undercover government agent during this era of DC Comics, or at least started off that way in the Who is Wonder Woman story. But this is a 4-parter, and Ends of the Earth is one of the most important stories in here, not only just to get another look at Diana's character, but it also does go into Beowulf and other mythological characters that we are sort of introduced and taking an adventure along with. It's very much fantasy based, and if you guys love Conan, I think you guys would really, really like the story. So if you are big into fantasy, this is definitely one that I recommend for you. All right, and last but not least, we do have Rise of the Olympian, which does take a big portion out of this book. This was an 8-issue arc. Not for the weary, not for the ones who are trying to leave things behind, and even if things do get a little bit overextended, I think this arc deserves all of the issues that it got and the story that needed to be told with Diana and this villain called Genocide. Genocide is definitely a big character, not only in this, but the people that he affects. And to the spoilers and the twist that you figure out with him and what his connection is to the DC Universe will quite leave you in shock. I know it definitely did leave an indelible mark on me when I found out. It very much is an emotional story. Donna and Cassie are also integral parts of this, so if you are looking for some Wonder Woman family action, this is the story for you. And this is the highlight of the run for me, at least writing-wise. You get to see what Diana does when she is dealt with a hand against the gods. She's dealt with a hand against the villain. She has to pick up the pieces of the society that has been left in tatters because of it, and other DC Universe villains and heroes and everybody else pop up in this story. So if you are looking for a hit of a story, look none other to than Rise of the Olympian. You guys, I think, will also be not only inspired by this because of the story and the message that it leaves for you as the reader, but also, yeah, they definitely pulled a lot of inspiration with this. The people who made Wonder Woman 1984, along with the people who wrote Injustice, the video game. I do also think that they took a lot from the story. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about broad spoilers. Diana, at this point in her publication history, I don't know if DC knew what to do with her after Infinite Crisis. They couldn't stick with the bit that Diana was not going to be Wonder Woman and that Donna was going to be Wonder Woman. I was very surprised that Donna was only Wonder Woman for 4 or so issues. And that would have been so cool to see, because I love Donna as a character and I really, really, really like the idea. It's just that, again, DC cannot stick to status quo changes for whatever reason. So in the case of that, we are left with who is going to write Diana, and what are we going to do after we quite literally decimated the Amazons, their mission is, like what their mission was, and what they're going to do on planet Earth. Enter Gail Simone. Gail Simone introduces us to a Wonder Woman who I think she understands Diana. Her character the compassion and the love. The love is what keeps bringing me into this book every single time that I read it. It's a fascinating story about her being a diplomat, her looking to go outside of the boundaries of what people can tolerate. There is a lot of people who spew hatred against Diana in this issue, in these issues, in this series. Can we get Wonder Woman to not only reacclaim herself as the greatest diplomat in not only the DC universe, but also Diana as the center of compassion, of empathy? And I think that's what Gail Simone gets right about her character and all the stories that she's in as well. You've got smart gorillas, you've got her being in a movie, and you have her being in tough situations where she is forced to make amends and difficult decisions, but time and time again she proves. And the Rise of the Olympian story will, not only the twist, but also the ending, it'll leave you in shock, and it's going to leave you wanting for more Wonder Woman, and that's why I think everybody should have a chance to read this run at some point. It's wonderfully written. Now, the two stories I do want to quickly talk about before we get to the rest of the book. The two stories that I wanted to talk about were this issue and the Brave and the Bold issue. Outsiders, this is pretty much just DC's sort of reason for, hey, we need to shuffle the board with the Outsiders team. Outsiders spun out of Graduation Day and also ran alongside Jeff Johns' Teen Titans. So if you were reading Jeff Johns' Teen Titans, there's a good shot you were reading Outsiders as well. They needed to shake some things up and reintroduce some characters to the team, bringing some new folds to the team. And the Outsiders 5-of-a-kind one-shot really sort of gets you enveloped in what the missions of these characters are in the specific issue. It is Grace Choi who gets the top billing, and Diana is also along with her, which is why this was included in the DC Finest. And it also has the epilogue by Tony Bedard with Lady Blackhawk and the rest of the Outsiders team. For the Brave and the Bold issue, I have seen this issue so many times on Twitter and Facebook and people editing the panels. I feel really bad for Rob Leigh because he's really, really good at his job, and yeah, I guess he had to suffer through that. Nonetheless, it is a very fun Karen and Diana and also a Clark issue. This is a lot of fun bits with some characters that you are probably not familiar with in the DC universe. So if there is something for you in there, I think you'll find it in this issue. Finally, the final verdict. If I had to tell you to buy any single one of these series that won't take up much of your time, but also keep a lasting impression on you, it definitely is Wonder Woman Origins and Omens. This is perfect if you are a brand new reader. I think Simone's run lends itself to both new readers and old readers of the character quite equally, and equally well in serving of what you would want in a Diana story. And by Diana story, I mean there are a whole bunch of these with a whole host of characters that you'll also love, because Gail Simone was killing it on all fronts at DC at this point in her career. And hey, she's still killing it over in Uncanny. Maybe I'll talk about that someday when I get back to my X-Men roots. But as far as everything else is concerned, if you are looking for a good jumping on point for Wonder Woman, this is perfect. And if you don't want to spend $100 on the Omnibus, this is also perfect for you, as it does contain 2 issues that the Omni doesn't have. Again, I really wish that they had the DC Universe number 0 one-shot that led into Ends of the Earth in here, but they don't. We'll have to deal with that, but hey, maybe on a reprint, who knows? We can get that expanded out. And that is really all I have to talk about for Wonder Woman. So if you are looking to pick this up, let me know. Before that, let's talk over the check boxes and the checklist for all of the DC Finest that we do have. So if you are short-time or long-time members of this channel, I think I'm going to introduce this section here called the DC Finest checklist, so you can keep up with me as well if you're watching this on the weeks that this is coming out, or if you are watching this on the rest of whatever days you decide to watch this video. This is what we have released so far. It is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman in this order. Up next week, we do have the JLA DC Finest book, Bridge Between Two Earths. Something that I also can't wait to talk about, because it does set up the templates for what will be every single run that DC and Marvel have to offer. On top of that, we do have Flash at the end of the month, so that is the last 2 that we have coming out.
If you haven't yet, check out our website, comicreleases.com, my and Webhead's love letter to comics, a hotspot where you can finally figure out what's coming out, when, from what place. Our unique upcoming website tracker in the Collected Editions tab makes sure that you're on top of every single collected edition coming out on the market, with release date updates to the minute, from the tiniest graphic novels to the giant Generator Deluxe hardcovers as large as an absolute. Our unique spreadsheet not only gives out the most accurate information out there, but our format also filters ensure that you can find your books as quickly as possible. The tracker also gives out links to domestic and international retailers so that you can purchase your comic books at the snap of a finger. We are also proud to host monthly solicitations as per given by the publishers that generously send us information to give to you all. From the Ultimate Universe to the creator-loved Oceans and Universes, we specialize in giving you the most readable format of solicitations without any of the annoying advertisements. If you also donate to our Patreon at just $2 a month, which is less than a coffee at Starbucks, you will receive access to a special watch list dedicated to individually tracking items that are on your wish list, past or present. Place in your tracking number and make sure that these books also not only come in safe, you can even put in special comments on these as well. On top of that, your name will also show up at the end of every single Dom of X video creates as a huge thank you. That is comicreleases.com. For more information, check this out down in the description. If you also want to contact me or Webhead, check the contact forms down in the description or email me down in the description.
On the next hand side, if you are looking to buy this book or read it, and if you have already read it, let me know what you think down in the comments section. Let me also know down in the comments section which DC Finest you are looking forward to the most, and that's going to be it from me. I am Dom of X, you be you. Take care and dominate the day wherever you go.